Red Sparrow. Welcome back to Glimpse at Recaps. Today, we are recapping the movie Red Sparrow, where we see Dominika, a former ballerina, enrolls in a Russian intelligence program and becomes a sparrow, using her body as a weapon to entrap a CIA agent. The movie starts with two characters in very different situations. A ballerina named Dominika Egorova is resting at home, listening to music on her headphones. Meanwhile, a CIA agent, Nate Nash, is sitting nervously. When the phone rings, he quickly answers and listens to someone giving him a secret code. He writes down the code and deciphers it to reveal a meeting location, Gorky Park. At the same time, Dominika takes care of her sick mother and brings her to the hospital for a checkup. Afterward, she returns home and hands her mother over to her caregiver before heading to work. Dominika is a talented ballet dancer, and as she gets ready for her performance, her uncle Vanya, who works for Russian intelligence, introduces her to a wealthy man named Dmitry Ustinov. Dmitry seems interested in Dominika and insists on taking a photo with her. Dominika then performs on stage, and the crowd loves her dance. Meanwhile, Nate meets with a mysterious person to exchange something important. Just then, a police car approaches, and in an attempt to save the mysterious person from being caught, Nate distracts the police by pulling out his gun. This allows the unknown person to escape, but now the police are chasing Nate through the streets of Moscow. Nate manages to escape and runs to the American embassy for safety. Back at the theater, Dominika's performance is abruptly cut short when her co-dancer accidentally steps on her leg, breaking it. She is rushed to the hospital, where she finds out that she will never be able to dance again. 3 months later, Dominika is recovering, and her uncle Vanya visits her. Vanya tells her that since she can no longer dance, she will lose her benefits, which include her mother's medical care and their apartment. Vanya gives her a tape recorder, and when she listens to it, Dominika learns that her dance partner injured her on purpose, so his girlfriend could replace her. Angry and heartbroken, Dominika follows her former dance partner and his girlfriend. She catches them making out in the bathroom and beats them with her walking stick. Feeling guilty afterward, she calls for help, ensuring they survive. When she returns home, she finds her mother lying on the floor, abandoned by her caregiver because they are no longer getting paid. Desperate to provide for her mother, Dominika turns to her uncle for help. Vanya offers Dominika a way out. He asks her to meet Dmitry Ustinov at a hotel and get him to lower his guard. Dominika agrees and meets Dmitry, who immediately starts forcing himself on her. Before things get worse, a masked man suddenly appears and kills Dmitry. The masked man, Matt Oren, is a Russian intelligence operative. Vanya explains to Dominika that since she witnessed Dmitry's murder, she now has two choices: either be killed to ensure her silence or join a secret school where Russia trains spies known as sparrows. With no other option, Dominika agrees to join the Sparrow School. Before leaving, Dominika says goodbye to her mother, who warns her that Vanya cannot be trusted because he has always had inappropriate feelings toward her. At the Sparrow School, Dominika meets the matron in charge, who is skeptical of Dominika's abilities since she has no military training. Dominika and the other cadets begin their rigorous training in manipulation and seduction. Meanwhile, back in the United States, Nate is suspended after the risky stunt he pulled in Moscow. He argues that his asset will only work with him, and his superiors eventually send him to Hungary to reconnect with this asset. In Russia, Dominika excels in her training but faces a challenge when a fellow cadet tries to assault her. She defends herself, impressing a visiting general named Korchnoi, who sees potential in her. Dominika is given her first mission. She is to get close to Nate Nash and find out the name of the mole working for the CIA. She is provided with a new identity and sent to Budapest, where she meets her roommate Marta, another sparrow. Marta warns Dominika that Russia will never let her leave unless she uncovers something valuable. Determined, Dominika goes to the pool where Nate usually swims and catches his attention. Nate quickly realizes that Dominika is a Russian operative, but he isn't sure of her exact role. They meet for dinner, and Dominika doesn't hide that she is a spy. She explains how she ended up in her current situation. As they get to know each other, Dominika starts spying on Marta, discovering that she is investigating the U.S. Chief of Staff. Later, Dominika uses clever manipulation to blackmail Volantov, the station chief in Budapest, who had been trying to seduce her. Nate and Dominika continue meeting, and though Nate is wary, he starts to trust her. Dominika tries to seduce Nate, but he refuses, knowing she has ulterior motives. Later, Dominika steals a cup from Nate's apartment and uses it to show progress to her Russian handlers. Meanwhile, Marta discovers that Dominika is trying to take credit for her work. Dominika assures her that she isn't, but the tension between them grows. Eventually, Marta reports Dominika to Valentov, hoping to get rid of her. Dominika returns home one night to find Marta dead in the bathtub, killed by Matt Oren as a warning to Dominika. Devastated, Dominika confides in Nate, telling him everything that has happened. Nate offers her a way out. He suggests that she work for the CIA and assures her that she can trust him. The two grow closer and eventually make love. Nate coaches Dominika on how to convince her Russian handlers that she is making progress. She passes a lie detector test with the CIA and offers them valuable information about a U.S. official willing to sell nuclear codes to Russia. Dominika sets up a meeting with this official, Boucher, in London, with the CIA monitoring the entire exchange. During the meeting, Dominika cleverly swaps the real discs containing the codes with fake ones provided by the CIA. After the deal is done, Boucher tries to leave, but is killed in a car accident while being followed. Back in Russia, Dominika and Valentov are summoned for questioning. Valentov is killed, but Dominika manages to convince her superiors of her innocence. She begs her uncle Vanya to let her return to Nate to maintain her cover. Vanya agrees, and Dominika goes back to America, where she reunites with Nate. However, Matt Oren soon appears and starts torturing Nate to get the name of the mole. In a dramatic turn of events, Dominika kills Matt Oren to save Nate. While recovering in the hospital, Dominika is visited by General Korchnoi, who reveals himself to be the mole Nate has been protecting. Korchnoi explains that he became disillusioned with Russia after his wife's death and decided to help the Americans. He offers Dominika the chance to take over his role as a double agent. Dominika considers this carefully. In a bold move, Dominika frames her uncle Vanya as the mole, using evidence she has been gathering. Vanya is executed, and Dominika returns to Russia as a hero. The movie ends with Dominika receiving a call from Nate, who plays a piano tune for her. Dominika smiles, knowing she has not only gotten revenge on her uncle, but also secured her position as a valuable asset for the CIA.